John Hughes, Hughes Brothers, Seward. John Hughes is part of the third generation at Hughes Brothers, a leader in the electric transmission and distribution industry. In 1918, four brothers formed Hughes Brothers Incorporated. They built homes for 3 years, developing a reputation for devotion to detail and adherence to standards. In 1921, a severe ice storm crippled the community of Seward and changed the company's future.
And then in 1921, a storm came through Seward County, knocked down all the power lines, which was kind of a new thing then in the 1920s. And Ben Hughes was friends with the gentleman that owned the power company. And so the gentleman that owned the power company needed his power lines built back up. And there was really nobody around locally to do that, so he talked to his friend Ben Hughes, and Ben said, well, I don't know if we can do this for sure, but we're going to try. And so from 1921 until the 30s, they kind of slowly switched over from building houses to building products for the utility industry, which is what we continue to do today.
During the 1930s, Hughes Brothers helped to develop the first 115 kilovolt transmission line to cover most of Nebraska. This was one of the earliest fully engineered and designed wood transmission projects in America. With the ratification of the Rural Electrification Act, Hughes Brothers worked with the U.S. government to create a distribution network that provided reliable electricity to rural America. In the late 1930s, their manufacturing skill turned to the war effort.
More or less commandeered the factory and said, okay, you're going to keep making transmission lines for the development of the country, but that's going to take a backseat to the war effort.
While they were proud to have done their part for the war effort, Hughes Brothers went back to serving the utility industry.
We still serve the same market. We still serve the electric utility industry. And it's kind of a misnomer. People think that we make poles. We don't actually make the poles. We make everything that hangs off the poles. 50,000 different products that we sell to our end customers, made up of over 900,000 different little pieces and parts.
I think that what makes them significant and stand out as a Hall of Fame member is the fact that they are locally grown, locally owned. They do business internationally. They do business throughout the United States. They have a reputation of quality. They have a reputation of reliability. If they tell you that they're going to deliver, they deliver. They promote Nebraska like Nebraska ought to be promoted, with quality products and with a workforce that's second to none.
The Hughes family is proud to call Seward, Nebraska home and generously invest in the community to keep it strong.
We have a great workforce. We have about 270 people that work here. About 210 of them are on the plant floor, actually operating machines. And then we have 60 people either in management or office support staff.
Throughout its history, Hughes Brothers has delivered products that reflect the hard-working people who make them, Seward's finest.
But as the years go by, things get more automated, and so we probably hire more skilled tool and die workers, more welders, electricians, mechanics.
And he and his brother and cousin took over this company and kind of formed a dream team that has enabled the company to grow and flourish, not just for a short time, but constantly since John's become the president of the company. Really proud to be a partner with them, and so thankful for his many contributions to Concordia, to the Seward community, and to the world at large.
For decades, Hughes Brothers has been an institution in the transmission and distribution industry with a reputation for quality products. For just as long, the community of Seward has been the driving force behind it, the heart of Hughes Brothers.
I'm going to adjust the microphone here. I'm kind of circus freak tall, so give me a second here. The first time I met Barry Kennedy, it took about 12 seconds into the conversation for him to tell me that at this point in the ceremony that I should keep my remarks very brief. I promised Barry I would do that, and I will not falter on that promise, Barry. But I do want to say a couple of things. As I look at this year's list of amazingly successful inductees and prior inductees, I kind of have to wonder, what am I doing on this list? And also, as my wife pointed out, aloud when I first told her of this award, is this really an award for you, or is it more of an award for Hughes Brothers? As normal, as most people's wives are right, she was right on the money. I think it's pretty obvious that it's an award for Hughes Brothers more than it is myself. So because of that, there's a few people that I need to thank. First and foremost, the original 4 Hughes brothers who started the company in 1921. Without them, I would not be standing up here right now, that's for sure. All 4 of them passed away long before I could ever get to know them. So to John, Burr, Ben, and Ted Hughes, thank you for doing what you did 97 years ago. To my dad, T.R. Hughes, who for most of his working life owned 2/3 of the company, thank you for your vision and foresight to pass the company along to my brother and I. Thanks, Dad. And thanks to my brother Ted, the first person I'm introducing who is actually alive. He's here tonight. Stand up, Ted. Ted is 1/3 owner, like myself, senior executive vice president, and our plant superintendent. And along with Tim Hughes, my cousin, who is vice president, and the other 1/3 owner, we make up the ownership team, and it's a pretty good one. I think one of the things that makes us work is that we all own exactly 1/3 of the company, which I think is kind of remarkable for a 97-year-old company to still just be owned by 3 people only. Also here tonight from our company is Patty Roth, our secretary and treasurer. When I call your name, just stand up, Patty. Patty is also my cousin. Bob Svoboda, our vice president and controller. Larry Vandergren, vice president of engineering, who can't make it here tonight because he's on a sales call in Florida in February. Engineers are smart, aren't they? Yeah. And speaking of smart engineers, Matt Streisand, our plant engineer and maintenance supervisor. Matt is also my cousin. Mark Heidemann, sales manager. And he's my uncle. You're going to kind of notice a definite family pattern here. Chantel Danker, our human resources manager, and a darn good one. Kevin Beck, our environmental and safety manager. He didn't stand up for very long there, but when you're an environmental manager and the EPA comes, it helps to look like you're the lead singer for Metallica. I'm going to pay for that remark tomorrow, aren't I? Doug Grummel, for years our fiberglass rebar marketing director. Up until last July when we sold that part of our business to Owens Corning. Doug still works in our office and works for Owens Corning and will for another 1.5 years during a transition period. Doug is my brother-in-law, married to my sister, Vicki. Stand up, Vicki. Come on, you're not that tall, stand up. Other immediate family that are here, my mother, Virginia Hughes. My mother-in-law, Joan Luby. My kids, Lena, Anna, and Hank Hughes. Stand up, guys. They get their tallness from my wife, and I'm saving the best for last here. My wife, Jana Hughes. She has to put up with all the crazy stuff that you have to put up with when you marry the owner of a small business. So thank you for your patience and understanding. I love you. And to all the 270 employees of Hughes Brothers, and don't worry, Barry, I'm not going to name them off one by one. But if you give these people enough time, they can do some pretty amazing things. Like the video said, 50,000 different products out of 900,000 different pieces and parts. They're pretty incredible. And last but not least, but most of all, thank you to the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry for this unexpected, undeserved, but much appreciated award. I'm having a great time tonight, and this is an evening that I'll never forget. Thank you.